of sport. Um, Bathurst this week, mate. I'm keen as. Um, what are your thoughts? Let's preview it.
All right, let's start here. Um, 300 points up for grabs on one race event with co-drivers. There's definitely jeopardy. The weather has been somewhat precarious of recent. I'm going to quickly check now what the forecast is going to be for next week. But
Well, for listeners who aren't in Sydney, our weather has been absolutely horrible recently. It's like today was beautiful, sunny day, but then yesterday was raining, then sunny, then raining, then sunny, and it's been pretty consistent. So I think that'll throw up a lot of jeopardy if it's like that on Sunday.
rain all day.
Rain all day.
That's the
So
forecast at the moment.
that's, as we said, the great equaliser, and which is disappointing because we know how good WAU are at Bathurst. So that could negate their advantage.
That's for sure. I mean, for me, more than anything, I think the biggest thing about Bathurst, I think more than anything this week, is that with Shane Van Gisbergen's lead in the championship, he's probably got the most to lose from an event like this, because if it's a mistake from not even just him, just his co-driver, that's 300 points he can lose in the championship fight, which would make it much more of a um, uh, more attainable championship for someone else with the last two events. I mean, he still would be in the prime position, but I mean, some would say they would probably want that to happen for the championship's sake.
So I was going to say that
Uh,
probably wouldn't be the worst thing.
no, it wouldn't. But I mean, I don't want to wish that ill fortune on anyone on the mountain, to be honest.
No, no.
But I think I'm interested to see if the pace that we saw relative to the teams at Bathurst last year translates this year, because we've seen a lot of that at a lot of the events this year, where if you were good there last year, it seems that you pick up where you left off. But yeah, if it's rain, that really is a great equalizer. I think a lot of the rookies will definitely struggle more if it's raining. Could have a lot more safety cars than we've had as of recent as well. Would also be probably a longer race, leading to more fatigue. And we've got a few wild cards this week, and we've got the Lowndes, um, Fraser, I think it is wild card, and also the Matt Chatter wild card, and the Murphy Stanaway wild card. So there's a few more cars on the grid, and probably a lot of these guys haven't had near enough practice as they would like. So to take them to the mountain in the rain would be a tall ask for 1,000 kilometers. But I'm
Pretty
looking forward to
treacherous.
you know really treacherous conditions. But it is the greatest race on the Australian calendar every year, and the anticipation just builds. I saw an ad yesterday for the Bathurst channel coming back this week on Foxtel, and I was like, yeah, I can't wait to turn this on when I've got a free couple minutes just to see what's playing.
Mm.
I saw on Facebook the Greg Murphy Lap of the Gods pop up, and I stopped my day just to see, watch those glorious 2 minutes and whatever seconds it is. So I think it's a real, it is the race that stops a nation in terms of motorsport. What are you looking
100%.
forward to most?
Well, just on that, I was going to say that it is
Coming in
the
with
one.
fresh eyes.
It is the one motorsport event. Even like yeah, as I've said on the pod before, I was hugely into supercars in like the 2000s, Scave, Lowndes, that whole era. And then I kind of fell out of love with it. I can't remember why. I just did. Um, but always, every year, it was always Bathurst is on this weekend. So I think it kind of transcends the sport in this country, and everyone, no matter if you like motorsport or not, gets on the Bathurst bandwagon kind of thing. So hopefully they take advantage of that and put on a bit of a spectacle. Look, as I said before, I'm a WAU man. I was hoping Chaz would get the W here, or at least on the podium to close the gap to Van Gisbergen. If something did happen to him, it'd just be nice to see the championship drag out a little bit longer. Because if SVG gets the win, then I think it probably is done at that point.
Yeah, definitely. But Bathurst is a special race where how many times have we seen a battler team get a victory? We saw Erebus before; they were probably the Erebus that we know now get a victory. We've seen Techno Autosport get a victory there recently as well. I mean, this is a special one because this is the last Bathurst that's Holden versus Ford, of all time.
Oh, there's
So
that too.
it's a massive one. Even you can imagine all the Holden teams at the moment wanting to be the last team to, you know, write their name on that Peterborough trophy as a Holden team. I think Walkinshaw spoken massively about that. Red Bull probably the same, and Erebus, would probably be thinking the same thing as the bigger Holden teams.
Didn't even think
Um,
of that, mate. That's
yeah,
insane.
it's massive. It really is massive.
Oh, I think we need to do a pod just on the Holden versus Ford rivalry at some point.
I would like to probably in the off season when there's not much going on, just go through this, the facts, the figures, the stats, and sort of maybe tally it up because this is going to be a special event. And I hope it's a race that is fitting to us, to a farewell to an icon. I'm also very interested to see I think they're showing the new Ford Mustang body kit at Bathurst with the new updated one. And I'll definitely be doing a few parade laps again with those things. I'm really excited for that.
What
We've
other
seen
categories
it.
have they got on over the weekend?
To be honest, I only know of supercars and super twos. They're probably going to be having the Porsches there as well.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm not too sure. To be honest, I haven't had a deep enough dive.
I'm quite sure that they were meant to have the S5000s, but something happened and that's not happening anymore.
Oh, there was apparently they got the S5000s. I mean, said they can't race at Bathurst, which I can somewhat understand, to be honest, because of the open wheel nature of them. Especially coming up and down the mountain section, they can open wheel cars can launch each other, and you don't want to be launched off the track into a tree down the mountain, which is definitely wouldn't be safe.
No.
If you think about it long enough, as much of a cool spectacle it would be, I just don't think that's even near remotely safe in terms of if you think about it. I mean, I can't wait to break down the race after it's all said and done. I mean, I suppose this is the race where all your battler teams down the bottom of the grid know that there are things that they can do in their control. Stay on the lead lap, minimize mistakes, great pit stops, just stay ahead of the curve. And it really gives all those small teams a chance. If it's raining, even more so, you know what I mean? So I that's why I think Bathurst is such a special race where realistically, if you're in on the lead lap with 10 laps to go, the last 25 minutes, it's anyone's game. We've seen the top three cars wipe each other out not too long ago. What is it, 2015, 2016? So it is the crown jewel of Australian motorsport for many reasons. The attrition, the rivalry, 250,000 fans, trackside, on a mountain, they'll probably be in the mud this weekend, doesn't deter anyone. It's going to be a great event.
Just the spectacle. Like we talk about Eau Rouge and that, the cars going over Eau Rouge, but the cars coming over the mountain and down, like it's just one of the great
down the dipper
in world motorsport where, you've even had Sebastian Vettel say, "That's one track I'd love to drive on." Like it's just one of the most well known tracks in the world, and we're pretty lucky to have it, 2 hours away from here. So I'm definitely looking forward to it. Any predictions, mate? Even though it is a hard race to.
Like last year, I'm going to predict Mostert and Fabian Coulthard just because I truly believe if you can get one of the drivers who have just left the full-time drive to be your co-driver, I think that just pays massive dividends. We saw it last year. I mean, if it's raining, I still would. I mean, Chaz is handy in the rain, probably not as handy as Van Geers, but him, Cam, and Van Gears are probably the ones in the rain that you can really depend on. Also, it's going to be interesting with because Tander and Lowndes are very good in the rain, but they're a few years past their prime. But I'd like to see that. Yeah, but I still would like to see them. If it is raining. The thing is, in the rain, anything can happen. Like it's absolutely crazy. You can be having a fine race and someone comes off coming down the chase, skips across the gravel and wipes you out. There's so much out of your control at the 1000. I'm just really excited to finally be here this year. I mean, the season is 2 events, after Bathurst from being closed, a totally new generation of cars coming in. So I'm trying to sort of take, the last memories of these couple of years that I've absolutely loved, take it in, hopefully have another, classic Bathurst, farewell Holden, fittingly. I hope Holden wins, to be honest, as much as that's probably his bias because I've been a Holden man my whole life. I think I would like a Holden to win this one more than any of the other ones, because of the history that they've written there and the investment that they've made in the sport and kept it going when, it sort of fell on its ass a couple of years ago. I hope, they can send off, that probably the biggest fan base in Australian sport, which would be the Holden fan base, off with a bang, and hopefully have a great race.
Yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to it. I've already told the missus that I'll be setting up shop in the lounge room on Sunday. Bathurst, the Formula One Grand Prix, it's going to be great.
What are you going to have on the big screen? What are you going to have on the small screen?
Oh, look, Bathurst will be on till 4 p.m. and then there'll be
it could be on until past 4 p.m, my friend.
Oh, yeah, but once the Formula One starts, they'll be switching over, you know what I mean?
Why don't you just go split screen? You can do split screen these days.
Yeah, you could. Okay, yeah, you're right. Probably could.
Yeah.
Last night I had to have the bloody Premier League on my phone and the Formula One on the screen. It was pretty frustrating.
Did you turn that off after the first 8 minutes?
I did, mate, and I did. That's another story for another day.
That's good form.
But yeah, I agree. I think Holden needs to win. Send them off in the right way, and hopefully it's Chaz. Adds a bit of
fingers crossed, mate.
Just quickly before we finish off, Van Gisbergen on the podium in World Rally Champion. What the hell? That guy is an absolute beast.
Well, it was WRC 2, so the feeder to WRC, but still rock up, jump in the car that everyone's been racing all their life, finish on the podium,
and then say peace out. I'm going to Bathurst.
Yeah, peace out. I'm going to Bathurst next week. This is what I do on my off days, kind of thing. He's really a specialist for that kind of stuff, to be honest. I mean, I don't think there's much to say other than he's on a level, that not many people can, attain, which is sort of jump into so many different things and perform at such a elite level. I'd love to see him do it in, the top echelon of the sport, just so we all have the opportunity to witness, what he has. And even if he hasn't got, a podium in him like he did in WRC2, just the ability for other categories to, give him probably the pay his dues, that we know that, the skills that he has, but for them to experience it as well. Because I do think he's very much a talent that transcends one type of motorsport. So seeing him perform in NASCAR, hopefully he does well next year. We've seen him perform well in a GT car before. We've seen him perform really well in an LMP2 car before. Obviously, he does his thing in supercars. He does his thing in drifting.
I'd love to see him transition to Indy. Like, I don't think it'll happen, but I'd love to see him in Indy.
I think, especially in a wet race, I would love to see how well he performs in any form of other motorsport discipline. Because I do think in terms of how he controls a sliding car from all the different disciplines he's raced in, I think his touch is so next level. I would love to see him to perform with the best, in conditions that he's probably, I'd say, better at. But yeah, he's a beast. You know,
100%.
he's absolute beast. Some would say he's a freak, but also like when you see the kind of person he is behind it, very humble, very straightforward. You know, speaks his mind, doesn't speak ill of anyone. You know, forgives and forgets. You know, mistakes. Like he'll have his piece to say, but then he'll just let it go. Like super chill. Um, you know, like it's a hard thing to come by, to be so ruthless on the track and then such a just genuine nice guy
Mm.
off it.